All right, well, we have a pretty beautiful day here in Florida, and this beautiful weather always gets me, it just gets the blood flowing, gets me in the mood to get some work done. I just can't wait to smile off my face when it's a beautiful day like this. So always try to embrace this good weather and get some work done, and that is what we were doing. Did this V-mount setup where we've got the intercooler up top and the radiator tilted back with this ducting, and I took the intercooler from a bare core and built it out. So I built these in tanks, put the quick connects on, I built the piping, and I wasn't very happy with this side. I really wasn't. I thought it was the only option. My original plan was to have this clamp, this outlet here on the front, and then have a super short pipe to the throttle body. The problem with that is this is offset 3 inches this way. So I need basically a bend back this way and then another bend back to straighten out and go into the throttle body. And with this stacked up, that's about 2.5 inches. We'd only have about 4 inches to get 2 bends in, which looking at it, test fitting pieces was not gonna be possible. So I put the outlet over here and ended up having to build this very elaborate pipe to go from A to B. And you know, it looks all right, and it should flow well and all of that, but one of the big reasons for doing a V-mount setup like this is to keep the super short intercooler piping. You have a super short run, you have less turbo lag, you're not trying to fill several feet of pipes, you're just filling a very short amount of time before it goes into the engine. So that being said, I wasn't thinking outside the box enough when it came to this. I had kind of a fixated idea of how I wanted to do it. When that didn't seem like it was gonna work, I was like, okay, well, I can't do it that way, I gotta do it this way. But a viewer commented an amazing suggestion. One of those things, I'm like, why didn't I think of this? Like, why didn't I think of this? This is so simple. That is such an easy solution. So anyway, their idea was, instead of having the in-tank be flat here and this thing coming off straight, have it angle out this way, have it coming off at an angle, and then instead of having to have 2 bends, we would only need 1 bend back because the angle would be kind of taking care of the kick this way, and we just need to kick it back and into the throttle body. Now, it still might be too short. I mean, we're gonna have, like I said, about 4 inches to get that straightened out and into the throttle body. So I figure it's worth a shot. I figure it's worth trying to see if we can do it. If we can do it, as much as I'm happy with how this turned out for what it is, I know long term I'm gonna regret not trying to make it as good as I possibly can. That's kind of the whole point of this car, is to do everything to the best of my ability. So I'm as happy with it as I possibly can be. And plus, I just like fab work and it's fun. I don't see it as work. I don't see it as redoing it as a step back if we do have to cut this in tank off and redo this, but if we get a better result, it's worth it. So all that being said, all that freaking jibber jabber, we're gonna pull this pipe out and we're gonna just kind of mock things up in here and see if it's possible before we go through cutting this in tank off and starting over. Let's get to it. We gotta make some pie to see if this is gonna be feasible. Alright, so it's gonna have to be a pretty extreme angle, but it's looking pretty freaking doable, boys. It's looking pretty doable. Ideally, it would be less of an angle like that, but we gotta take what we can get here. I've yet to pull the intercooler out with the ducting in, so I'm curious if I'll be able to pull it out and put it back in without it getting weird on me. Oh yeah, look at that. Sweet. Kind of cool to see the ducting from up top. Can you see it? You can kind of see it. All right, well, we're about to do it. We're about to cut this entire intake off. It's pretty solid. We got into it a little bit down here, but pretty good overall, honestly. All right, the next obstacle has entered the chat. So we can get this angle, right? We can get it curved, but as you can see, because this is V-mounted and going down, it's about a ½ inch too low. So we're gonna have to rearrange these pie cuts and hope that we can get the curve and get it flattened back out. Okay, I messed around with swiveling the pie cuts to basically swing it up and back forward, and it's just not gonna work, because if we lose the bend, because it's like however we rotate these is what they're doing. So with the small side over here, it's bending to the right. With it over here, it's bending to the left. With it up here, it's going up, going down, right? So I put this one to where it's going up, and then the next one would need to be going back down in order to straighten it out so it's not pointed up, and it puts us down just like not where we need to be, down below the throttle body. So we're gonna have to keep it pie cut all turning and add that angle up into this, I think. All right, I think I figured out a solution. Did a really aggressive pie cut on this side of the clamp. Oh, I just knocked it out. Let's try it. Hold on, technical difficulties. So basically, I don't know if you can see it, but it's gonna angle it up and then it'll angle in. And it looks like it's gonna work. Gotta put it pretty much all the way at the end here. Yeah, all right, cool. So that's it. That's the money shot right there. Now we've gotta turn our CAD into aluminum. Oh, the bending is always the most stressful part. All right, well, I promised I would introduce you guys to old Blue. I need to take him for a walk. I figured I'd bring him out to the shop, so he's a little shy still. Blue, you can see, bud. He's a little shy still. He's kind of afraid of anybody but me and Chrissy at the moment. But we're working on it, right, Blue? We're working on it. The rescue we got him from was kind of a sketchy place, and they said he had been inside, or he had only been outside one time. I don't get how he's only been outside one time. He's like 3.5 months old, but so the outside was pretty scary for him for a little while, but he's gotten better about that. He likes to shop, especially the inside part of the shop. He's not quite ready to be a full-on shop pup just yet because someone's afraid of loud noises. Well, he's getting better. He's getting better every day. When we got him, he wouldn't even let us touch him. He was terrified. Poor thing. Oh, he's hyper. Oh, he's a hyper, Blue. Oh my gosh, he's hyper. Besides being scared, he's super obedient. The only time he doesn't listen is when he's scared. Oh, and he's a Weimaraner American Bulldog mix. I mean, he looks way more Weimaraner, but I'm not very knowledgeable on dog breeds, so. Blue, we're going in the shop. No, don't eat the leash. Blue, come on. All right, we've got this guy fit in here, and if we put this down into position, it's gonna be tight. What we gotta do next is pull the intercooler, clean this edge up a little more, and then get this tacked on, start making our end plate here, because we're gonna have to drill that hole ahead of time. There's a lot to do. We're just gonna keep doing it. right, not perfect. It's like a little high here and a little low here, but I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. All right, redid the pie cuts, got it lined up near perfect. 5 pie cuts, and that's it. And it's, I mean, really, if we could get away with 4, we'd be better off. Then it's gonna be at an angle. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. I'm gonna tack the pie cuts together, tack that to the clamp. That way that's good. If all that goes well, we can weld everything out. All right, well, here's where we're at. Everything is tacked together aside from the back plate. I tried to make it out of a piece of scrap, but it was like a tiny bit too small. Trying not to waste any more material. But I mean, it's as short of a run as it's ever gonna get. I will say though, I like this better, I do, but this is kind of ugly. Like, I wish there was some way I could have made this look less ugly. It doesn't look right, but it's all for the case of functionality. I'm curious, there could be a case made that the other setup flowed better because the air is going to go directly through and then gradual bend back to the throttle body as opposed to hitting this wall and having to go up and in. But this is a much shorter run, so who knows? Just jibber-jabbering. We do have a special guest coming today. We're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to go have some fun with the special guest before we finish this out because there's a special guest in town. And when guests are in town, you can't miss out on an opportunity to hang out with them and check out their stuff. Look who it is. This thing is sweet. All right, give me a tour of this thing. Well, I really like the exhaust first. Yep. I want to start here. That's a nice touch.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, it's like in there.
Yeah, I just welded it into the.
That is so funny.
3.5 inch tube.
That's so funny. And you got a muffler?
Yeah, so it's got 2 mufflers, 2 smaller mufflers, and then it's got a cutout on the downpipe.
Oh, I want to see is that like a cow track bar kind of thing, or is it 4-link?
So this is it's a Ford Explorer axle, 48, and it's the stock geometry of the Volvo. So like the stock Volvo had this exact same setup.
Oh, really?
Just with
like stock arms
and springs and stuff. So yeah, there's that.
I love the originality.
Yeah.
Like it's just like original Volvo.
I bought it and I dailied it for a year.
Did you really?
Yep.
Oh, it's stick shift?
It is stick shift.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, of course.
How did I not realize that?
Everyone was mad because autos are faster, but I wanted to have fun with this thing. So.
I mean, for this kind of car, that makes it way cooler. If I was going to do it, I'm lazy, I'd do an auto. But stick shift Volvo sedan, way cooler.
Yeah.
Way cool, way more cool factor. Boom. Look at this, pie cuts. Woo.
Yep.
Love the fab work. It's interesting intercooler. Is it air to water?
It is air to water.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want it air to air because that gives it away.
Yeah, smart.
So now, unfortunately, the air to water intercooler was not keeping up because I built it in 0-degree weather. And it was doing great then, so I added the meth injection.
Right, that makes
really
sense.
Helps. The turbo kit, which was really fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I was excited for this project just to build the turbo kit.
That's been me with the Cefiro, and that's how I feel whenever I get around to turboing that. Man, it looks good.
Yeah, it was crowded. Figuring out where to put the turbo was a little hard. It turned out pretty good right there.
Yeah, it looks better than a lot I see. And did you recirculate or is it dumped? Okay,
it's dumped. I kind of like it dumped.
Yeah.
Not a sleeper. But
oh, there's the downpipe.
Yeah, there's the downpipe. Snaking around.
Oh, okay, and then you've got the cutout right down there, and then the rest. Oh, that's so cool. Dude, this thing's freaking sweet.
Thank you.
What size turbo?
It's a 7875 next gen billet. VS Racing.
Yeah, VS.
These big motors is such a new game for me. So like I bought like a much smaller turbo.
Yep.
And he's like, dude, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna work. And it was like twice as big as any other turbo I've bought.
Yep. No, when I Sloppy Mechanics Matt Happel, I've learned all the Turbo LS stuff from him. Anyway, he'd talk about turbo sizes, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
475. But it's the motor's so big. What size? What motor is it?
So this is an L6, so like CTSV.
Oh, nice.
It's a 5.7.
Nice. So you bought probably the dropout with the T56.
Yeah, it was
makes
nice.
sense.
I was originally gonna do like a 5.3 and then like tear apart, gap the rings and all that kind of stuff. But I saw this, and I was trying to get the build done quickly.
Right.
I literally just threw this in, didn't touch a single thing.
Nice.
And it's making 650.
So no cam.
No cam.
Oh, wow.
Stock cam. Literally didn't touch a single thing.
Wow. So it's gonna make a good bit more when you put a cam in.
Yeah, I got a Holly intake coming, cam, better
Nice.
intercooler,
Nice.
maybe some more boost. It's on 9 pounds right now.
Yeah, man, this thing is sweet. I really like. You did a great job on this.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean the welds aren't that pretty, but
Oh, dude.
they are staying together
Trust me.
so far.
Trust me. I know.
Stainless, I do not like welding stainless.
Really, I like
Nope.
welding stainless.
I love aluminum. Don't like stainless.
Fab work in general, like building this stuff, like the welding's just a small portion of it.
Yeah, the welding's my least favorite part, honestly. I like welding, but
Yeah, like fitting it
planning
all
it
together.
out and like getting it all to fit is really fun.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle.
It's so rewarding when you
It is
put
so
it together and you're like, whoa, like it does fit. And No, I love it. I love fab work. Yeah, this thing is sweet.
Yeah.
Excited to go for a ride.
Oh, I just blew the tires off.
Oh my, but it sounds so good. Oh, it sounds so good.
Yeah, it sounds awesome with the valve open.
Yeah. 1200 at 50.
Comfortable.
It's really comfortable.
That's what I really wanted was.
Yeah, that's the key. As I get older, I want, like, comfort is so important to me.
Exactly.
In a car, any car. Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's funny because like I feel like I'm used to it, and then I rip it, and I'm like, oh,
Not used to it.
Not used to it.
Okay, I would say that was significantly more intense than I expected, to be honest. Oh, it's even scarier because the car's so boaty.
I
You're
know
like,
the suspension lifts up so
the
high.
whole thing's like, oh my god.
It's so fun. I love this thing so much.
This thing is amazing.
Yeah.
This thing is definitely amazing.
It just puts smiles on people's faces.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
it's just so fun.
smiling.
This is a cool road, actually.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah, so. Oh my gosh. Oh, it just feels so wild with the car. The whole car is just like floating around.
Floating is a great way to put it.
Yeah,
It
it's
feels
just like
very floaty.
it feels like you're floating.
Yeah.
Like that. The way this car moves is the best use of the term floating
Yeah.
that I've ever used. Most accurate depiction.
I don't rip this thing on anything besides the straight road.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in it, like the steering is like you have no idea where
Yeah,
you're going.
you feel it, and you're like, I know the brakes aren't very good,
Yeah,
so
I know
like,
that
we
too.
gotta stop. We're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
Probably gonna die.
That's what makes it partly fun. Should I try a first gear rip?
Yeah, mine. It's probably just gonna spin. Oh man, that is absurd. That is absurd. Oh, exceeded all expectations, to be honest. Do you have an idea of what this weighs? I mean, it's probably way lighter than my truck's gonna be.
Yeah, guess how much?
3150.
Wow, it's 31.
Damn, that was
good
close.
guess.
Yeah, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, these things are 2,800 pound stock. Which is
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. That's why it shows it. It's like a big wagon, and it's not 5,000 pounds.
No, that's super light.
Yeah, it's sweet. That's why it actually feels pretty fast too.
Dude, it feels fast.
Yeah.
It feels fast.
Everyone's like, oh, Turbo S, that's boring, but
Dude,
it's
Turbo
awesome.
LS is the truth.
There's a reason why they're so popular.
Yeah. You put a giant turbo on it, I mean, you could make 1,000 horsepower with this setup if you wanted to, no problem. Oh man, all right, well now it's his turn to go for a ride in the Miata, but I gotta change the tires on it because they're bald from the drift event.
I get to experience the V8 Miata. I'm used to
I think you'll like it.
Baby 4-cylinder ones.
I think you'll like it. It's pretty rowdy.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's probably not as fast, but it's very visceral, like it's just intense. Like tires spinning, screaming, it sounds wild.
I'm assuming that you got like some stiff mounts in there too, right?
Reasonably. Vibrating. It's not, it is kind of vibrating. You really get the vibration from the titanium exhaust.
Really?
Yeah, like it just vibrates your chest.
Soul.
Yeah. Caleb's heading out. Thanks for coming.
Thank you
I'm
so much
glad
for
you made
having
the
us.
detour to come by and check the place out.
This was the destination, wasn't the detour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I came down here to hang out with you.
No, it was a blast though.
Yeah,
it was great.
Awesome.
Definitely reinvigorate. I mean, not that I wasn't excited for a Turbo LS, but way more excited now.
Yeah.
Way more excited now.
The numbers don't make it that exciting.
Yeah. You don't think about it, but yeah.
I'm excited for when you get it. Is that truck you're doing it to?
Yeah, because it's got a 6-liter and a 480 in it right now.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it should be sweet. Yeah, now I'm extra excited. Moral of the story. So anyway, definitely go check out his channel, Gen Jim, if you guys don't know him. I'll put the link in the description. But bye for now.
Sounds
Hopefully
good.
I'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be, we usually come to Florida like once a year.
You got to bring the drift truck down sometime.
Yeah, if I keep it.
If you keep it, bring it down.
Bring it down.
So funny to see them just rolling out in a station wagon. Like, it just looks hilarious. All three of them in there with the stuff. Like, you would just think it's a station wagon. It's so cool that they did a road trip with that thing. Oh man, that thing is way cooler than I anticipated it being. And they're off. All right, I gotta go walk Blue. Poor guy's been inside for like 4 hours. And then we're gonna get back to work. We're gonna finish this thing intercooler core. right, got it all welded out. It looks decent. It looks better welded. It's just, it's goofy looking, the intake. I had to weld the inside of the clamp here because I couldn't get to this spot. I mean, maybe I could have, but I just welded all the way around the inside too, and we've got some on the outside. But anyway, I want to make sure the pie cut's still gonna fit before we weld that out as well. The nice thing about these kind of clamps is I can slide this all the way back till it's flush. Slide this down in here. And slide it over both. I mean, manipulating the coupler is pretty freaking dialed. I mean, it's literally like perfectly lined up. All right, before we get too ahead of ourselves staring at it, let's weld this out and finish this out. We can put both back in. I have the couplers for both sides. We can couple them, make it official. All right, well, we'll just snap our way through this one. Boom, done. My TIG button quit working pretty quickly, pretty early on, and I switched to the pedal, and man, you probably can't tell on camera. It's still obviously not perfect at all, but the welds came out way better. Moral of the story. We got our couplers. This is our 2.5 to 3 for the turbo side, 3 to 3, just straight 3 for this side. It's gonna be a little tight on the throttle body. We're probably gonna have to cut this down a little bit, so let's get to test fitting. All right, took a little Multi-Max synthetic lubricant. I got it trimmed down enough. Well, it's in. It's gonna be awkward to clamp, but all right, time for side number 2. Oh man, this is like smaller than 2.5 inch. Jeez, I'm gonna have to go like a 2 1/4 to 3 inch. In hindsight, I should have just done 2.5 inch intercooler piping. I don't know why. I just had the 3 inch left over from when I built the Fummins, so I was like, oh, 3 inch, standard. But for this setup, I could have just used 2.5, since the turbo outlet's 2.5 anyway. That one's gonna be a little tight, even with the right coupler, but it should work. All right, well, aside from needing to get a different coupler to fit this, because this is not the 2.5 inches I thought I measured it at, other than that, intercooler is done and dusted. I am so happy with how this came out. I'm not a fan of the way this in-tank looks. I hate it with that big angle. I wish I could have made it look less abrupt and sharp, but it was for the greater good to have such a short intercooler piping. I mean, that was the whole point of doing this setup this way, was to end up with super short intercooler piping, and I mean, that's about as short as it freaking gets. That is about as short as it's ever gonna possibly get. We've got like a 5 or 6 inch run. That's amazing. So overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm really happy with how all of this has turned out so far. The freaking ducting, everything. Whew. I'm glad we took the time to redo that. I'm glad we went ahead and went for Project Intercooler V2.0. It's definitely a lot better and is what I was going for in the first place. Before I gave in too easily and went with the squiggly do. Yeah, that's a lot less piping than that. It's crazy. Crazy how much of a difference just the location of the outlet can make and how much piping you have to use. So anyway, I really wanted to get some more work done, get this intake done and finished out and that all sorted. So this whole deal was all squared away. But today we took a little break from work and had a little fun doing some play, ripping around. It was really cool to meet Caleb and hang out with them, and that Volvo was sick. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. So it was worth it to take a break from productivity to do that. But that being said, I say that to say, that's going to be it for this video. Intercooler Rendition V2.0 is where we're going to end it. So we got plenty more work to do. I hope to see you guys for that. But for now, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing.